Orhan Ghazi was far from the tribe when destiny turned its gaze upon the Kayis. He had ridden west with urgency, chasing shadows born of Rome's dying ambition, Timurtash, poisoned alliances, and the treacherous calculations surrounding Princess Esporsa. His absence was necessary, but fate is rarely merciful to necessity. What remained behind was discipline without its master. The tribe moved as it always had, guarded by experience rather than certainty. The Bachians kept their formations tight. The Alps maintained their watch. Halil, Turhan, and Boran Bey carried the weight of responsibility with steady resolve, believing themselves prepared for anything that might come. They were wrong. The first drumbeat did not sound like a warning. It sounded like a verdict, low, slow, deliberate. The ground seemed to absorb it before releasing it into the bones of every man and woman in the tribe. A second beat followed, then a third, each one pressing harder against the air until even the horses grew restless and the fires flickered unnaturally. The watchmen did not shout. They stared. From beyond the hills emerged a formation unlike any the Kayis had faced before. Warriors assembled not by blood or banner, but by devastation. Roman steel marched beside Eastern mail. Mongol scars stood next to northern axes carried by men whose eyes held no fear of death. At their center rode a single figure. When he dismounted, the world seemed to slow. His boots struck the earth with such weight that the sound did not echo. It spread. Each step carried a pressure that rippled through the tribe, as though the land itself recognized him and yielded unwillingly beneath his feet. This was Ozgur. He did not scan the tribe like a conqueror seeking weakness. He looked as though he were remembering it. His gaze moved slowly, crushingly, lingering just long enough on every face to make even seasoned Alps feel exposed. No one spoke. No one breathed freely. And then Fatma Hatun saw him. Her blood ran cold. She stepped backward without realizing she had moved at all, her body reacting before her mind could. Her hands shook violently as she pressed herself behind Malhun Hatun, clinging to her as if the earth itself were slipping away beneath her feet. The Alps reacted instantly, shields rising, swords half drawn, forming a living wall, but even they felt it. This man did not test defenses. He walked through them in his mind already. Ozgur stopped several paces inside the tribe, close enough that his presence alone forced men to avert their eyes. "I expected Orhan Ghazi," he said at last, his voice calm, heavy, unhurried. "Instead, I find the tribe breathing, without its heart." Boran Bey stepped forward, every instinct screaming caution, yet pride forcing his feet onward. "You stand on Kaya land," he said firmly. "State your intent." Ozgur turned his head. The look he gave Boran was not rage. It was assessment. "I am Ozgur," he said. "An intent has already been decided." His eyes shifted, unavoidably, to Fatma. She trembled openly now, tears gathering as terror she had never known seized her completely. Malhun tightened her hold, though even she felt the chill creep into her spine. "That girl," Ozgur said slowly, "is no longer beyond reach." Malhun's voice rang out, sharp and defiant. "She belongs to this tribe." Ozgur took another step forward. The ground answered him again. "She belongs to history," he replied, "and history has chosen her path." The tribe felt it then, unmistakably. This was not a man who threatened. This was a man who announced outcomes. Ozgur's presence crushed certainty, bent courage, and hollowed resolve. He was not merely an enemy. He was the embodiment of every nightmare the Kaya believed they had already survived. Behind him, unseen but felt, stood the shadow of Noyan, watching in silence, satisfied. Ozgur mounted his horse once more. "Prepare," he said, his voice carrying effortlessly across the camp. Mobilize your Alps. Call back your bay. His eyes hardened. It will change nothing. As the drums resumed and the Gogolazans withdrew, no pursuit followed. The tribe stood frozen, knowing, with dreadful clarity, that they had not just been visited, they had been marked, and from that day forward, the Kayis would speak Ozgur's name not as an enemy, but as a warning.